All right, everybody, we are back. Kaj, I didn't tell you this, but we actually have a new name for the podcast. We just haven't switched it around yet. It is not Marketplace Mavericks anymore.
Oh,
We're going to go with my Instagram handle and just call it the Buy Box we're going to kind of name it after me instead.
Sure.
Because I was using two different names and I was like, you know what? Why don't we just keep it simple and we're just going to call it the Buy Box Maverick Podcast.
Sure. Yeah. That way it just people can find you easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So today I got Kaj on here. Kaj we've been on each other's podcast before. We got to meet each other at Miami Sellers Conference.
Yes.
But Kaj, you talked to me last week or a couple of weeks ago about something that you guys are doing is kind of a crash course, 5-day intensive brand direct challenge that I think for anybody that is either looking to get into selling on Amazon to begin with, or more likely somebody that's in OA, RA, looking to make the switch and isn't sure if, they want to try it all on their own, but isn't sure if they want to invest a lot more money for some of the online coaching. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, man. So for anyone who's been in this space for, I don't know, a year or so, if you have been, already selling online arbitrage, whatever it may be, you've probably heard of Chris Grant. So he's an OG in the space. He's been around since way before even I started selling. Absolutely great guy. And then also my mentor when I first got into wholesale, Corey Ganem. So Chris Grant did and still does the OA challenge. And then Corey Ganem did the wholesale challenge, both of which were live trainings on each of those methods, how to do them. They give you a bunch of resources. And I was talking with my business partner, co-host Josh, and I was like, I don't think anyone's done the brand direct challenge. I was like, let's just do it. And I've actually been trying to get better just myself. And this is kind of an aside from the challenge itself, but like, if I have an idea that I think is good, just take action on it really quickly. I actually posted about this on my ex the other day, and now I'm getting off on a tangent. But I've realized that like defaulting to action is like what success is predicated on. And so I've never done a live training before. Obviously, I've been teaching brand direct inside the wholesale network for a while now. And I was like, you know what? I think this is a good idea. I think it'll help a lot of people. So let's just do it. So I hit up Chris. I'm doing the brand direct challenge in partnership with Chris because he's kind of like the guy who does the challenges in the space. Yeah. And also because I'm doing it for the first time, like it's good to have, someone I can kind of bounce ideas off of. But anyway, so the challenge itself is going to be August 10th through the 14th. So that is about 2 weeks from the day we're recording this. I'm not sure when it'll come out, but August 10th, which is a Monday, through that Friday, we're going live every day at 6 p.m. And each day I'm going to cover a specific topic and then give you some resources. And then there's also going to be a time for Q&A. So we're going to go over A to Z, everything you need to start and scale brand direct. So how to find and identify the right brands, how to properly reach out to them and do follow-up, how to negotiate with them, how to get that exclusive contract. And then when you do get the contract, or even if it's not exclusive yet and you're just starting to work with them, how to properly onboard them, how to get access to brand registry, Seller Central, and how to use Claude or your AI LLM of choice to be able to write the listings and manage the PPC for you as well. So one of the bonuses that I'm very excited that's going to be included within the challenge is my AI operations course. So everyone inside the challenge is going to get access to that. And then also in partnership with the Smart Scout team, there's going to be a unique code for Smart Scout that is only going to be available to people who join the challenge. And it will only be available for the duration of the challenge. That's going to get you an extended free trial and access to some additional features that are normally only available on their business plan, which is the more expensive one. But for this challenge, they're moving some of those features into the essentials plan, which is the $100 a month one. So yeah, I've been working very hard on this behind the scenes. Excited for it to happen, and I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, I think anybody that gets into brand direct, especially like Smart Scout, starts to be like your best friend. I tell people like, you don't have to have Smart Scout if you're just getting into it to source. Keepa will do that, but real quickly, you're going to, as soon as you start to work with brands, you're going to need Smart Scout. Mm-hmm. Because it's really accurate and it just gives you really clearly laid out. I like Smart Scout so much because of how it's laid out. It's just super clear. We've all used Keepa. So Keepa is fantastic for sourcing, but it is not clear. It's not, we just kind of stumble through it. So, and I think, when you talked about taking action, like that is one of the number one things when I do my sales call once a week with brand direct guys or guys that are getting into it, is that like call to action, right? Is you can only make your list so long of people to call. There's only so much preparation that you can do. I always tell people, I'm like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about setting up your prep centers. Don't worry about all of that other stuff that is in all the training modules. Pick up the phone and just start calling people. Is like, just start doing the action. Everything else, the nice part about Brand Direct is it doesn't move at the speed of light. It's not like OA where all of a sudden day 2, you're putting in orders, and by day 5 you got packages showing up. You're learning how to like pack them, how to ship it. Brand Direct and wholesale in general it's much slower. You have time. Brands are not going to be knocking down your door wanting to sell to you. It's going to take time, so you have time to learn. Don't worry about not being able to optimize a listing or pictures or stuff like that. No brand that is selling thousands of products a month is going to get on the phone with you and be like, yeah, you can have the account. I just need you to do all this stuff for me right away.
Yeah. And one thing that I took for granted in my own business experience is, and I'm not going to get into my whole story, but people can go listen to other episodes, but I actually started in private label when I first got selling on Amazon. And so I just kind of had the understanding of building a listing in PPC just because that's how I got started. So when I went to Brand Direct, it was very easy for me to be like, oh yeah, I know how to do this because I've actually done it. Whereas just from, being involved in the space and talking with a lot of people, I found a lot of people don't feel like they have the confidence to bring those things up with the brand because they've never done it before, which I mean is totally fair. Like confidence should be based off of what you've done. So part of what I'm looking to solve within the challenge is to give people the actual tools and processes that I use to do listing optimization, to become the exclusive seller, to do the PPC. So that way, when you do talk to the brand, even if you haven't done it yet, you know that you have all of those resources so that you can actually go and do it. So you can confidently tell a brand like, hey, I do know how to do this because I have, the resources from someone who's done it before.
That's awesome. And tell me a little bit about how you're implementing the AI into the Brand Direct business, because I get a feeling probably that how you're implementing it and how I'm implementing it is probably very similar. It's implementing AI into wholesale and Brand Direct is not so much setting up a whole bunch of tasks and it's just doing repetitive tasks, because Brand Direct is different. It's not anywhere near as repetitive as OA or RA. It is much more the AI assisting you and kind of giving you everything right in front of you, being able to build listings, optimize listings and stuff like that. Because it really has, like, I started a year, I've been doing Brand Direct for exactly 1 year. And I can even say back when I started, we didn't have AI because for the first 3-4 months, like it was just over the winter that I started playing.
That is actually crazy how fast it's changed. Yeah, literally 1 year ago, what we're doing today wasn't even an idea in anybody's head.
No, that's wild. I couldn't. It's just recently now that I've gotten into even being able to do pictures on there and have them be good enough to want to post actually on listings. Before I was doing pictures, but I would use an optimized picture, something that I could put in an email and send to a brand is kind of to get a response, but it might not be something I would really want to put up on Amazon. Right. And now the listings, even the pictures and everything, it's getting to the point now where you don't need a graphic designer anymore.
It's kind of wild. Yeah, so these are all things that I'm about to say. These are all things that are going to be included in that AI course. That's a bonus for the Brand Direct Challenge. The main ways we're using AI is in listing optimization, PPC management, and then also the images. So we used to use ChatGPT, switched over to Claude. One of the best decisions I've made when it comes to AI. Same. Love Claude, and I'm playing around with it all day. I'm not a technical person, so I have
to stop myself sometimes from playing with it.
I have stopped myself.
You need to go make money.
That's part of the reason I made the AI course. I actually primarily made it for Wholesale Network members just because I felt like, and when I say I felt like, I was also doing this. It was really easy just to build things because it was fun. And then I was like, wait, all this time that I spent figuring these things out actually didn't make me more money. No. So I was like, all right, I need to make sure what I'm doing. It was very cool. But I was like, let me make sure when I'm using AI, it's doing one of two things, making me money or saving time. If it's not one of those two things, we'll leave the project for another time. But anyway, so the main ways me and my team are using it is writing listing copy, making listing images, updating and managing PPC. And then we do use it a little bit to help and manage with like responses and outreach. We also use it to make brand presentations. So when we're doing outreach, if we have a brand that's we're communicating back and forth with a little bit and we want to give them a better understanding of the landscape, we have a skill that makes really, really nice presentations. So like comparing their listing to a competitor listing, giving them an understanding of the size of the niche, and all this data is stuff we're pulling from Smart Scout. So those are the main ways that we're using it. And yeah, man, it's wild. I will say maybe some tools that people aren't aware of that I love, absolutely love, is Google Pomelli. Great image generation tool. So Google Pomelli is totally free. And what you can do is take the link for the brand's D2C website, their Shopify website, put in Google Pomelli. And then what Google Pomelli does is it pulls all of the branding information. So it takes their fonts, it takes their color palettes, it takes their aesthetic, it takes all their products. And then when you go to then prompt it to create different images, it creates on brand images versus if you just took it into ChatGPT or Claude, it's going to use some fonts or colors that aren't going to be consistent with the brand. But Pomelli essentially gives you that template. And then you can use Pomelli to kind of create the lifestyle images. You can take that over to Claude Design and then use Claude Design to add the words over top. So yeah, you can do pretty much all of it with Claude, and I like adding Google Pomelli in there as well.
Yeah, it's become really popular. I don't know if you know, but do you know that there's a couple websites now just for building Amazon pages?
That doesn't surprise me.
There's one called, and I'll put these links in the description. There's one called listingoptimization.com that is a less expensive version. And then there's this other one called scalable.so, which is a much more expensive. It really breaks down to probably about $50 a listing and like unlimited pictures, variations, how it breaks out. Much, much cheaper, less expensive than hiring a graphic designer. But more expensive than using, obviously, Claude. It would be, but it is like an idea for people. Wouldn't be something to use just if you're trying to, promote a brand or to get into with a brand. But if you are actually working with a brand, wanting to make listings to put them on, we've started using Scalable, and it's been really good for pictures too. And I had no idea. Diana Grishman gave me the two websites. She was like, these two websites I use daily now.
That's crazy. All right, yeah.
So I figure if Diana uses it,
yeah,
I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
So like those two things just popped up, and they've been really good for me also. So, and all of this stuff was not around a year ago.
No, literally didn't exist.
So the people that are really looking to get into brand direct and are thinking like, I don't know how to optimize listings, I don't know how to do this. Like, number one, brand direct does not move that fast. It takes a while to build. You have time to learn, and there are so many resources to assist you now to help you learn. Because you guys even do your own PPC.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You guys do it on yourself. I didn't have that option when I was doing it. I had to go out. I found a really good agency, but it paid off and everything was fine. But it's expensive. I had to eat $1,000 a month for a couple months until I could really justify it. So for people that are getting into it now with AI and being able to assist you with PPC is really powerful, where you can just keep on doing it yourself, or if you're a one-man band, once you scale, you can make a decision to give it to an agency or keep it in-house. It's definitely one of those things. I've always said that I want to do what you guys do and really take it on myself, because I love the marketing part, but then at the same time I have an agency that's doing really well, and it's like, oh wait, I also don't have to touch it. So, but the Brand Direct Challenge is really going to give you, I think the best way to look at it is going to give you like a 5-day crash course, where at the end of the 5 days, you might say to yourself, no, I like OA better. Or you might say to yourself, yeah, I'm ready to make the switch now. I made the switch right before Q4 and stopped sourcing. It depends on, how far someone has scaled their OA. But it is, for anybody that has started OA in the past year or 6 months, it's a lot different than it was a year and a half ago when I started. Yeah. It gets tougher in the OA and RA world. So I think this gives people a really good idea to, if they're looking to explore into it, and they're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that's going to allow them to start doing it and start going to action. Because I think that's the hardest part. I'm sure you hear it all the time in your class, or when people are thinking about joining your group. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing wholesale. I just want to get through Q4. I just want to get through. Let me just get my OA through Q4. Let me just do this. And then January comes around and there's another reason for them not to do it. So this might be something that is going to really just get people to, hey, if you want to do it, just start doing it.
100%. Yeah. And the other thing I'll say too, like if we're talking about the person who's doing OA and thinking about it, like you don't have to stop doing OA to do brand direct, right? And I mean, when I first started doing wholesale, I did a wholesale and OA hybrid for about a year. Like I already had a team and VAs built around OA, and we kind of just kept that system churning and then just slowly added wholesale and brand direct on top. We have a bunch of members in the wholesale network who do the same thing. So you don't have to stop doing OA.
No.
But when I started doing wholesale and brand direct, I knew that I was transitioning to them to stop doing OA. I had very specific reasons why I didn't want to keep doing OA. And I'm not the person who, bashes OA and say OA sucks. Like I love
There's
OA.
There's plenty of guys that make lots of money doing OA.
OA is the first business model that I was really actually able to scale, and what allowed me to quit my day job. So OA will always have a special place in my heart. But I also just kind of saw some signs in my own business from what I liked doing, what I didn't like doing, and the fact that I'm like, okay, I know I want to have this Amazon business for, the next 5-10 years and like actually really scale it. And I just don't think OA is what fits that for me. So
no, I think a part of it is personality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody enjoys cold calling. Well, nobody really.
I don't think so. If you do, you're
gonna do awesome in this business.
That is very true.
But I don't think
if you do, actually, I might hire you.
Yeah, I don't think no one enjoys cold calling, but now that I've been doing it for a year, and the fun part about brand direct partnership, and it's the partnership part, is when you find a brand, you've been with them for a year. You have a relationship with them. You're not worried about them cutting you off because you're both making money off of each other. You are working together. One of my brands right now, we're talking about changing our packaging, and we're actually working together to, I got them a box company, and like we're starting to work together on how to change this. Or, hey, this is what it's selling for on Amazon. This is what I need to buy it for. What are some ways we can cut costs? And it's not them saying, well, I don't know. All you can do is just buy more and maybe I'll discount it more. When you find a good brand, they start working with you and say like, all right, well, how about I prep it for you? And if you can buy like 3 more cases, we can discount it down to this. There are so many different ways. And that's the part of the business I find to be fun. And I find to be sitting down and having to make 20 cold calls is not fun. But getting on a phone call with a brand to talk about repacking their product, or them wanting to launch another product with you and seeing if that might work and brainstorm with the brand, that's where this business starts to become a lot of fun. And it's also so much more fun when you can turn your repricer off because there's nobody else on the listing. I got to do that this week for the first time, and it felt so good to turn that repricer off and just say, no, the price is what the price is. If I want to change it, I'll change it myself. Those are the things to like look forward to with brand direct after you put the work in. And I still do cold calls, but I don't do 100 a week anymore.
Yep. Yeah, me too. I mean, I do still do cold calls, but it's not nearly as many as it once was. One of my favorite things is, I think, because I'm looking at my phone right now, all of the brands I work with, I just text them. Like I just iMessage, I just, voice memos, like back and forth. One of the brands, like she's super busy and like travels a lot. So she doesn't like to do a lot of meetings. And so like our iMessage is just her sending me voice memos back and forth. And like, that's how we coordinate everything. Yeah. It's great. It's awesome. It's, for me, that again is so much more fun than sitting down at a computer and checking out online. I would rather send an iMessage to a brand and then 1,000 units of something shows up at my prep center.
Yeah, it's just, I get the people who love the OA stuff. They love the hunt. They love the hustle. I get that. They should stick with OA. They're doing 100%. Great with it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, I think
it does work.
It most certainly works, but the brand direct really gets to be more personal. I definitely think for, guys that are probably older, people that are probably more my age, like I always said, like brand direct was the first time, after doing brand direct for a couple of months, it was the first time I was able to bring past business experience into it. OA, I was just a fish out of water. I'm like, there's nothing I can connect with any other business I've had. Starting to do brand direct after I got over the awkward stage, I was like, now I can start to bring some of my past knowledge like into this on how to talk to brands, how to work with them and things like that, where you're not going to get in OA. So a lot of it just comes down to like personality and what you like doing.
Yeah, that's true. Are you familiar with the Operators podcast?
I have heard of that one.
Do you know? Do you follow? Okay. Do you follow Sean Frank on X?
I do.
Yeah. So he's the main host on that podcast, and so that podcast is essentially like what I want my podcast to be. It's just I don't have a business that sells $100 million a year yet, but it's just a couple guys who run like huge e-commerce brands, so like Ridge Wallet, the owner of Simple Modern, one of the biggest water bottle companies. They're kind of like a Stanley competitor, but they had an episode recently where they talked about like the hardest roles to hire for. And one of the hardest roles for them to hire for is head of Amazon. And these are guys who are running 9-figure brands. Some of these guys, their businesses are valued at $1 billion plus. And they just talk about how hard Amazon is and how much it sucks, but how important it is. And I think one mindset shift for people doing brand direct is, yes, there has, especially from wholesale and the big wholesale boom, and a lot of brands have already been contacted, there is going to be a lot of initial resistance. But the one thing I've noticed the longer I've been doing this is brands do know that Amazon's important, but they also are aware that it's extremely complex and they don't really know how to do it well. And so the niche that we're actually serving, and this is one of the reasons why I do enjoy brand direct. Like when you find a good brand partner, it's you are actually mutually serving each other and you're bringing a good service to the marketplace because you have customers who want to buy the product on Amazon because you have a brand that sells good products. And then you're able to get those customers that product at a price they're willing to pay for more often and better. And you're able to solve a pain point for the brand while also putting money in their pocket, and you make money while doing it. So it really is, it's a win-win-win situation. And that's, I mean, I could talk about how much I'm so bullish on the model. I'm so bullish.
I'm overly bullish. I don't even reach out to distributors anymore. It's just, for me, it's a waste of time.
Yep, I haven't. Yeah.
Even if I get them to buy, I can buy for them. Like I got one from someone. It took me 6 weeks. I couldn't get the thing ungated. I had to end up selling it on like eBay. It was just not worth it. This wasn't worth it. But with brand direct, and as you start to do it, you start to find. I always say, I'm like, if I can get on a video call with a sales rep or a brand owner, and they are open-minded, I have them. And I don't have them as in like, ooh, I got the sale, because we're paying them. But it's going to make sense. Number one, if they know anything about Amazon, all you have to do is say, how do you like dealing with Amazon? And just sit back and listen for the next 10 minutes. It's because they're going to tell you nightmares, because nobody has a good experience with Amazon. It's impossible to, especially if you don't know how to use Amazon. I have bad experiences with Amazon. We just know the game and we know how to do it.
Exactly.
So giving that, like, that is the one thing I would say. I'm like, listen, I don't want Amazon to get too easy to use, because all these brands are just going to, I don't want all of a sudden Amazon to give them a rep and them just ask something and it gets done.
Yeah. We're solving the complexity for them.
Yeah.
I saw on an agency's website, they said like they're the fractional Amazon team. I don't know if people have heard of like fractional, but it's a sweet term. So like people will like offer like fractional CFO roles where it's like they're not actually hired by the company, but they just like essentially they have an agency and they provide CFO services to them. It's like what we do. We are the fractional, like we are the CAO, the chief Amazon officer. We're just external to the brand. And so really just making sure brands understand it's like, hey, I'm not just buying your products and then I'm disappearing. It's like, you have my cell phone number. You can send me an iMessage and like, we're on the same team and we're going to crush this together.
Yeah. The better I do at your listings, your PPC, the more you sell, the more I buy, the more we're happy. I frame it to a brand and they really understood it this way, because I kept on saying brand partnership. And I said, listen, I'm your distribution partner for Amazon. And like the brand went, oh, okay, so you're a distributor. Yeah, I distribute for you on Amazon. I'm your only distributor for Amazon. And like, for whatever reason, that clicked for them. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, they sold to a lot of distributors. They're like, oh, so you just become the only person I sell to for Amazon. I distribute my stuff to you and you put it on Amazon and you manage it. I said, yeah, that's it. They're like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Done deal.
Because it really is. It's such an easy close when you have a brand that is open-minded.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Part of it is timing and just grabbing a brand. We've all talked to brands. They want nothing to do with you. And then 3 months later, you call them and they're all about listening because something has changed for them. And now you make sense. So I was like, I don't, on my CRM, it takes a whole lot for me to read that brand out. It might be a long-term play and a long-term follow-up, but I'm never Xing someone out because you never know when you call what their situation is that day. And that's going to be a lot of the things that people learn with Brand Direct. And the Brand Direct Challenge is going to give you a crash course on how to talk to these brands, how to present yourself to these brands, and then you're going to come up with your own style. Because your style and my style when we talk to a brand are probably different.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, don't lean into your personality when you talk to a brand. Don't try to be me. If you have a dry, slow personality, that's okay. Like, that's going to work for people.
Yeah.
Like,
no, definitely.
I'm joking around with them. That's my natural style. If I tried to be dry and sound like an accountant, it's not going to go well for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because people can sniff out authenticity.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to be authentic for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be a great idea for you guys, for you and you. Now, so you and Josh are doing this together. You guys do.
Yeah, it'll be primarily me, but yeah, Josh will be involved as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'll be doing most of the teaching.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, I am going to make sure we're going to link the website for you guys to join the Brand Direct Challenge that's going to start in about 2 weeks. We're going to get this podcast kind of put up quickly. So we'll get this up in the next couple of days so people can get a good breakdown of it, and your website and everything that you're doing the Brand Direct Challenge is real clear. So I think anybody that has kind of been shopping around for online coaching and getting into the Brand Direct, I think this is a perfect opportunity for people that are kind of in the middle. They don't know if they want to make a big commitment to Brand Direct, but they definitely want to get more than what they're getting on YouTube. And I think, you guys are going to be able to give that to them in the 5-day crash course.
Yeah, man, that's the plan. I'm very excited for it, and I think people will get a lot of value from it.
Awesome, guys. Well, I wanted to jump on, do this quick podcast with you guys and get this out there, but the links will be down on the bottom. And until next time, guys, we will see you on the Buy Box Maverick Podcast.